Well, Roger and Adam here, and I'm going to ask Adam a really important question because when I first met you, Adam, I met you because you were the first ever independent estate agency owner to bring your team, whole team and business into and partner with eXp. So what would you say now, as the sort of wise old man of doing that? Why should somebody bring their whole business and team into eXp? What have you found has been the real benefit for you?
Before I go on to the answer, that night I met you and Steve Backley, will stay for me for the rest of my life. And the question, you were diving deep, like, why would you do it the first? Why would you say yes first? And perhaps I'll come on to those reasons. But I think I was ready and I was looking for an answer. But I said to someone the other day, I was speaking to an agency owner who's considering bringing his business into eXp. And I said, like, when I look back and set up my company 15, 16 years ago, if someone had said to me, I'll pay you out, you can pay your outgoings as the money comes in. That's a pure maths. Forget everything else. The collaboration is part of the biggest worldwide property company, brokerage, the support. Just that alone should be a simple reason.
So basically, eXp will take care of your overheads. You just get on with selling houses.
Yeah, majority of the overheads.
Majority.
Yeah, but you're paying for it as the money comes in. Well, what any business, if I set up a coffee shop tomorrow,
and when you joined, theory is one thing, practice is another.
Yeah.
How quickly did that happen for you? I mean, did you see it? How quickly until you went, I've just done the right thing?
I think there's been quite a few moments down my first check for revenue share.
Yep.
My the first month you had a load of fall throughs and it affects your cash flow. And then on the first of the month you haven't got all those outgoings coming out. You think, I have made the right decision there.
Yeah.
Like, and Jamie, obviously works with a real agency, and us, was in a WhatsApp group with a load of agents, and I messaged them on the first of the month saying, check your bank out, everyone. And they were all going, well, what are we looking for? I was like, you see all those outgoings come out? Me and Jamie haven't had that.
The other thing people think is big thing about eXp is cloud-based. So you don't have to have an office. But we're sitting in your original offices. You're still here. You've got 5 or 6 people in the front desk.
Yeah,
you've got people out doing valuations. So it's not, nothing has changed. If someone walks down this high street, they have no idea that you've partnered with eXp. There's no change for the customer looking in.
No, not really. Obviously, the main reason I did it, I think, is when I set up as an agent, on my own. I was an agent on my own.
Yeah.
Then I had one admin support, then I had another one, then I had another. All of a sudden, you create this beast where you're not seeing the client through from start to end, and I didn't agree with that. I think for the customer's journey, ideal, they need to build that relationship, that strong relationship. So I think plugging in my business into eXp, it's enabled me to give a better service to the consumer.
Yeah.
Like I say, Richard, Michelle, you're going to deal with that client from start to finish, and you can't split yourself in 100 different ways, can you? So you've got to have those hungry agents working with you.
And talk about the agents. I'm sure there are people either watching or listening this, agency owners, thinking, so basically I've got to move my staff from being employed to being self-employed eXp agents, still working under your brand. How big a shift was that for people? I mean, that sounds quite frightening and quite a change. So it's not just you changing, it's your staff having to change as well.
It's, yes, you can do that completely, but you can still have employed team administrators, support staff, co-agents. Got someone who's behind the camera there who's employed in my team. But if he decides to start going listing homes on the front line, he has to then join eXp.
Okay.
And how that looks like, there's lots of different ways of doing it. And I'm working with a couple of agents at the moment designing their plans as they're going to bring their business into eXp. And there's no right or wrong way. Every business is different. So every team in eXp can be different and how they will run. But the hard and fast rule is if you've got an agent out there winning business in living rooms, they need to be self-employed.
And it's been, myself and Steve Backley have been working with you and Jamie and building the Real Agency Club for the last, year. And it's been really interesting sort of watching the people that now reach out to you personally.
Yeah.
Because more and more eXp agents, the ones that are thinking, actually, I'd like to now build my own team, who hadn't done that before because they've been successful, they're coming to you and saying, can you advise me that? Can you mentor me through that?
Yeah.
And that's something you love doing, don't you?
Yeah. I think it's if you take it back to sport, and you probably can give someone else advice better than you can look at yourself.
Yeah,
sometimes.
absolutely. Yeah.
You look at how they're running the race compared to yourself. You think, do you have to sometimes use those skills back onto yourself sometimes? But I love putting. Everyone's different. Everyone, you've got the different team splits. Some people will do a split the same, regardless of where the leads come from. I've just been to Canada, and the main reason I went there to the eXp conference out there was to find out how that different team sizes, small teams, big teams. Some of the teams over there, like 150 agents, like massive.
Yeah.
What do they do with the splits, and how do they retain the agents? And because like any business or any estate agent business, the big risk is the high performers leave.
Yeah.
So I went over there to find out, how do you keep the high performers happy?
Yeah.
How do you motivate them going for an ongoing? And there are some clever systems out there.
Yeah. I mean, you love going off to an eXp conference
I do,
well, and we joke about it, but we're lucky that you do, because you always come back with something. It gives you that space, doesn't it, to just see things differently, learn from people who have done it before. And I think that's what I was alluding to with you as a business owner, and using the athletic analogy. Many people, if you're getting ready for Olympic Games, there are many coaches, there are many people that have an opinion and will tell you what you should do. And sometimes, though, that advice is the same, but you're not listening to it quite the same. But when somebody who's walked into Olympic final says it to you, you listen. And that's why, if I was a business owner, I would want, get advice, but be choosy who you get your advice from. And when they are getting advice from you, you've done it, you've walked the walk, and you know what it's like to bring your business into eXp, and there aren't many of you out there. So I think that you bring a huge amount of value to people, and I think you're going to bring a huge amount of value for the growth of eXp, particularly in the UK, as more and more independent businesses join.
It's exciting time, and I think I really believe in the model. I think it's how they've created this business to help the individual agent, to help the team leaders, to help it's all about building the future for the agent, not just the team leader, like the agent themselves, and the different ways you can protect yourself and your career with like revenue share, the stock options, and icon cap, setting those goals. And with your individual teams, I said you can actually take inspiration from that and say, look, if you cap, you get this. If you get your pipeline to that, I was with an agent the other day, and they were. Scott Gunn, a great eXp agent, and he was talking about he's got these different parameters.
Legend in the eXp.
He is legend in the UK, and I was lucky enough to visit his office, and he was, we were sharing ideas. And it was really interesting to hear what he had to say about when an agent gets to their pipeline to that, they suddenly get this.
Yeah,
I thought that's genius.
Yeah,
that's really clever.
So if you're an independent estate agent, business owner with a team, and you're thinking about what the future looks like, and you want to learn more, then reach out to us at Real Agency, but much more importantly, reach out to this man, because he'll always make the time for you to talk to you about what it's like to bring your whole business to partner with eXp. We'd love to hear from you.